So he's got the base bike there. That's what I just rode, and now I'm on this baby. What are we doing? We stalled it. Thought someone stalled something. He stalled the friggin' RR. Factory! Must have been the resistance from those friggin' wings on there.
Better be alert. I might just throw a random fry in the middle. Oh, who's faster? That was good.
Very nice. Yeah, that thing's sweet. Alright. I am on a Tuono 1100 here at Thousand Oaks Motorsports. And this thing is hard to get into neutral. So Tuono 1100, this is isn't the factory, but maybe riding that. Next, this has no miles. The tires aren't even scrubbed in, so brand new tires. So we're going on a nice 35-minute ride here through the valley here in Los Angeles. Oh yeah, pulls good. A little boggy, but definitely pulls real good. Can really feel like the gyroscopic precession and the rotary inertia in the wheels. I don't know why that is. It just feels a little different than what I'm used to. Ugh. Yeah, the gearbox is really, really notchy. It's a brand new bike, so maybe that has something to do with it. The gearbox lever is nicely weighted. The clutch is really, really nice for a cable clutch. Really smooth. But the actuation of the gearbox is just a little funky. Seat's super comfortable. Mirrors are usable. That's always nice. Little boggy. Yeah, it's boggy. Yeah, we're gonna do a little canyon riding here. Okay, to get those tires warmed up. Yeah, this thing doesn't actually flick that fast. It's got a lot of rotary inertia. I mean, it's stable. That, you know, having a large gyroscopic effect, a large rotary inertia definitely stabilizes the bike, but it doesn't make it as flickable. Harder to flick, but more stable in the turns, especially steady state turn. The peg height is actually pretty high. I feel like I'm on a sport bike as far as the legs go. Knees are nicely tucked under the tank here. You know, I'm sort of that 95th percentile, you know, rider. I'm 5'11", about 180 pounds. So, you know, that's, at least in Italy, that's probably spot on what the bike was designed for. Pulls real good. Oh yeah. I feel the front end lift just a little bit. Hoorah! Handle's good. The tires aren't scrubbed, so we're just taking it easy here. Alright. Very stable. Once you get the chassis planted, it's very, very stable. But it is a little slow on the flick, I will say that. This bike has way more power than you would ever need for the streets. Probably, I think it's around 170, 175 horsepower. And it's most of it packed into the mid-range. So once you get to the mid-range power, it just pulls the same, very linear through the pull. I can see why Michael Nees from MCN likes this bike. Not many people are aware of that California is mostly a desert. So like you leave downtown, you leave the shoreline, you're in desert. You got desert and then you got farmland. The only reason you got farmland in the desert is because of all the irrigation. You can thank William Mulholland for that. He was a civil engineer that brought water to LA. He also brought about, 20 million people. So I think there's 8 million in Los Angeles County, there's 4 million in Los Angeles proper, and then I think it's like 20 million in Southern California, and then I think almost 40 million in all of California. A lot of people here. Boom, Spider-Man. Pow! It's the 6th largest economy in the world. I think its GDP is on par with Russia and Spain. Might have to look that up, but it's pretty close anyway. Yeah, I love the clutch. You know, I'm kind of a clutch snob. If you've watched any of my videos, like Japanese clutches are terrible. The clutch field engagement is terrible. It's just, I don't know what it is. But for a cable clutch, this is just as nice as my hydraulic clutch. Ugh. I just got stung by a bee on the neck. Yeah, I don't have my jacket all the way zipped. Friggin' bee stung me. Son of a bitch! Right on my Adam's apple. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Alright, we're at second gear lug. Ooh, not good. Yeah, you gotta be real attentive with your shifting on this thing. Doesn't like anything below 4 grand. Alright, I'm gonna start nitpicking the Tuono 1100R here. It's a great bike, but I'm gonna start nitpicking it. I don't really like the valve train vibration. It's kind of annoying. Very sloppy. There's a lot of valve train noise or cam train noise. Braking, so this has Brembo M50s. It's a beautiful bike. I like the styling of this bike. I think it works a lot better than the sport bike, the RSV4. Man, that thing is due for an update. Yeah, the clutch and throttle on this thing is fucking awesome. It's about 95 degrees today. The valley is hotter than like Los Angeles, like proper. So I guess one gripe I would have with this bike is if it's like your daily commuter bike, is the motor requires revs. So if you're just like kind of cruising along in 5th gear and you're like, oh, I want to change lanes, it doesn't like it. So you got to downshift a gear. You know how I feel about the twins. That's the perfect commuter motor. I mean, other than the fuel mileage. Something pops up, I want to change lanes quickly. You don't have to do anything. You just look, signal, squeeze the throttle. You don't have to downshift. It's just one less thing. And I would say if you're learning to ride, get a twin with lots of torque, because it's less shifting, there's less things to do when you're learning. You can oftentimes be overwhelmed by all the shit you got to do and deal with traffic and everything else. So I would say the twins are better for your first bike. And I have a video on that if you want to check it out. A couple videos actually on buying a new first bike and a used first bike. So check those out. That was gay. Ugh. Yeah, this bike has fucking atrocious valve noise below like 2 grand. Sounds like something's broken. No, I like the like Rizoma like reservoirs. That's pretty nice. Everyone's going to that tinted reservoir. I think it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if that's like UVA, UVB thing to prevent like UV degradation of the fluid, but whatever it is, it's pretty cool. Don't like catch the clutch engagement with the throttle and then rev up. Rev through the clutch engagement and you won't get that fucking horrible valve vibration. So here we are, 4th gear, 4,000 RPM on the highway, very smooth. California has the shittiest roads in the nation. It's like this patchwork of like asphalt and concrete. And like the Mustang, man, oh shit, that thing goes in like wheel hop resonance like crazy. But this bike's just soaking up the bumps. I don't feel anything. So fucking 10 out of 10 on the suspension of this thing. Fucking 10 out of 10, bro. And so here we are, 5 grand, 6th gear. See that bog? Nothing's happening there. So I gotta get up a little higher, or 5th gear, 5,000 RPM. There it goes. So about 5,500, 6,000 RPM, this thing starts pulling. Alright, we get to test the braking. Alright, let's test them. Yeah, pretty good, pretty good. Pretty good bite. A little vague. I'm not gonna give it a high rating, just sort of average. So the obvious question is it better than a 1290 Super Dink? Man, that is tough. That's a tough one. The Super Dink is just, it's got that torque, man. Like if you're gonna do any kind of just commuting and just casual street riding, that thing is fucking impossible to beat. You know, backlash isn't bad at all. Like in and out of gears, this is 1st gear, it's totally fine. Not a lot of slop in the drivetrain. Suspension is really, really nice. Really soaks up the bumps. It's taut, but it's good shock control. Very comfortable, good damping attenuation. Neutral is, seriously, neutral is fucking impossible to find. It has a dedicated traction control switch here, it toggles. So you got, you know, thumb for up and index finger for down, which is pretty cool. So if you're on the track and you're trying to adjust on the fly, you know, you can do that. The other electronics parameters can be controlled through this little toggle switch right here, this little guy. Yeah, so what it is I think there's just a lag here in the gear selection display. So you may be in neutral, but it takes, you know, a half a second or a second or so for it to show up on the display. So that's what's going on with the gearbox. This definitely has plenty of power everywhere. What that guy's saying, eh? Tell him to slow down? I don't know. seating position is like what you would think. It's super comfortable. The ergonomics are great. I got a slight lean forward, which I always like. I hate to have that neutral seating position where you got that, you know, concave, convex thing going on with your back. Great seating position, controls are good. Display isn't bad, even in the, you know, the bright sunlight. It's overhead, and the reflection isn't bad. There's all kinds of valve noise when you're trying to lug it below 4 grand. So it likes the revs. You know, it's a V4, so that makes sense. You just have to be in a higher RPM for each gear, which is fine. I've heard rumors that next year RSV4 is getting a full makeover, but that is an aging platform. Bang, bang.
Now, I didn't know if you guys were going to stop in the way. I was like, hey, tell the guy in the Tuono it's got clutchless up and down shift. Yeah, I mean, this literally, you put the first 21 miles.
Wow, what an honor. I'm honored.